Hi everyone, Usman here from Web Worx Labs. Good to see here. Good to see everyone here at Unite 2020. Super excited to be presenting to you on marketing for the travel industry in today's world. Today I have with me myself, Usman Sheikh from Web Worx Labs, and my partner in crime, on Abid. Say hi, on.
Hey guys.
Hey, nice to see you again, on. With that said, today we're going to be talking about a whole host of things associated with digital marketing. We understand, it is a tough time in the travel industry because of COVID-19. We ourselves have felt the impact. A lot of our partners have felt the impact. There is a need for us to kind of shape and help travel agencies with their digital marketing efforts. There's a lot of hospitality and travel and tourism and companies and brands that have been impacted. But even with this impact, there is a need for brands to still communicate and engage with a customer. The reason for that is because when the pent-up demand does come back, and it will come back, whether it's this year or next year, the brands that have invested in their digital marketing efforts by having a great presence, great social media engagement program, great advertising strategy, and are constantly updating their customers online and engaging with them are the ones that are going to win out. So our job today is to really showcase how to go about creating a digital marketing strategy covering all aspects, or all major aspects, including social media, web design, SEO, ads, to really drive the brand forward when the market does come back. And that's it in a nutshell. So with that said, let's get into what we look to accomplish today. We're going to have introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about exactly who we are, what our background is, so you can get a little sense of who the speakers are in this presentation. We're going to get into social media. The importance of social media in today's times, post-COVID-19, has become even more apparent. I want to talk about how to do things right, what type of posts resonate in which platform, and why. How you can go ahead and use those best practices to create a program for your brand to create engagement. So when you build trust and engagement, then when the customer is ready to transact, you're going to be top of mind. We're going to take a break because we're going to be talking about lots of examples. We're going to get into a little bit of details. It'll be about 30 minutes into the presentation, hopefully. And at that point, we're going to review any questions you have. We're going to talk about anything that may have come up during the presentation, or you can just grab some water or have a drink and then catch up after the break. We're going to get into web design. On's going to walk us through web design. He's going to talk about some of the best practices in web designs, what a good web copy needs to be, or call to action, or banner settings, and other elements of a great website, and the importance of SEO in today's world, given it being the biggest referral network with Google out there. A lot of folks say that their existing customers are giving them usually the repeat business, or anybody in the digital marketing industry knows that the biggest repeat business comes from Google. The more reviews you have, the better rankings you have, the better visibility and trust you have, the more you're going to be able to get more repeat business. So how do we maximize SEO? And we talk a little bit about that as well. We take a break here as well, and then we take some time to regroup, again, bio break, because we've covered a lot of material and a lot of content. Another half hour will go by approximately, and then at that point, we're going to get back into pay-per-click. And the reason we get into pay-per-click within this presentation today is because, again, we can get a ton of impressions, a ton of visibility, with pennies a day or pennies a click. And that is a very cost-effective way to get a lot of exposure, because a lot of the programs, whether it's on Facebook or Google, a lot of the impressions are free. So even if people don't click and you bid very low, because you're comfortable with it and you want to keep your budget low, you can still get a ton of visibility if you know what you're doing. And that's why we're going to get into why pay-per-click is still important even in today's post-COVID world. We're going to open up for a more broader Q&A. If anybody wants to engage, we're going to have some ongoing discussions. There's some other insights that we want to share that will be just more open-ended instead of a structured format. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the giveaways we're going to be doing and other things that are going to be unique to Unite 2020 that hopefully you guys can benefit from. With that said, let's get into it. Okay, so a little bit about us at this stage. Today I have on here my partner in crime. Before I get into talking a little bit about myself and my background specifically, I'm going to pass it over on, and maybe on you can give us some things and interesting things that people want to know you for.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Usman. Thanks for the intro. This is super exciting. I'm super stoked to be part of this webinar and be part of a big gathering. And special shout out and thank you to Unite 2020 for setting this up. I really hope everybody after this presentation has some valuable things to take with them. And I would recommend taking some notes. A little bit about myself. Personally, I have sleepless nights these days because I have a newborn at home and a little puppy as well. So a lot of hair pulling, a lot of sleepless nights, but we're getting through it. And it's a blessing in disguise to be home a lot more due to COVID and see all the milestones the baby is going through. So in my profession, I've been at Web Worx Labs from its inception. And I've had prior experience in large corporations such as FedEx, Livingston, Stericycle, or Shreddit. My experience at these multinational corporations range from big data analytics, IT analytics, and customer experience. However, my education of business marketing, which I majored in, has brought me back to my roots. And I'm blessed to be part of this fast-paced, growing organization at Web Worx Labs. So today I'll be teaming up with Usman, and particularly I'll be discussing why do we need a website for our brand, and how do we bring traffic to our website that converts to leads through SEO practices. And the rest of the tactics that Usman introduced us will be discussed with Usman. So without further ado, Usman, I'm going to leave it back to you. I'm going to take a little break, and I'll see you in a few minutes to discuss the topics that I just mentioned.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ron. Okay, so it's me, Usman Sheikh. I am the founder and CEO of Web Worx Labs. I've got about 18 years experience leading many organizations, whether small, medium, and large, or startups, into high growth with all things including planning, finance, operations, branding, marketing, analytics. Worked in lots of consulting, done a ton of leadership roles in various different capacities. And what started this company about 7 years ago was really helping brands that had a great cause, of great people behind it, really help them reach new heights with the expertise that we had in-house. That was true then, and that is true today. That is the same partnership approach that drives what we do at Web Worx Labs here. We really get to understand our customers really well. We understand their pain points, we understand their journeys and their struggles, and we really help them alleviate some of those pain points to get them the exposure, the leads, the visibility, the sales online. And given online is a bigger channel in today's world, even especially post-COVID, it is imperative that we continue to leverage the best practices, stay on top. Other than that, from a more personal standpoint, I am a father of 3 little kids. My oldest is 7 years old, so it's a crazy house, and when everybody's been working from home last little bit, but we're getting by. We're very happy. Other things that's interesting me at this stage, we just finished Modern Family on Netflix, season 10. I'm sad to see the show go, but it's been a great ride. And I think, from other small things I would like to say is for myself, is I really like reading and anything related to the Internet of Things. So if it's a good book that you guys recommend that's related to the Internet of Things, share it, okay? Maybe a message on the message box. And then I'll be happy to take you up on it, and we can maybe discuss it offline after this presentation. But that's it. Let's get into it. So the questions we're really looking to answer in this presentation today at Unite 2020 is: do you have a marketing framework for attracting your ideal customers? If the client that values your service and has the budget and wants to get a unique and unforgettable travel experience, can they find you? Do they know you exist? and that is in a nutshell what we look to accomplish today. How do we get in the radar? How do we nurture those clients that we get in the radar and that have noticed us to stay connected with us? And after staying connected, when they're ready to transact, consider us as part of their experience that they want to utilize. And that requires a plan and a framework. And we talk about some of the best practices some good players are doing in the industry that we can leverage here for you with this webinar. So again, have you ever wondered, and I'm sure most of you have, and I'm going to ask these questions, get your clients to book with you over and over again and give you referrals, give you a steady stream of leads, enjoy being a success in the industry. And I'm sure most of you will say yes. If you won't say yes, I'll be surprised, because otherwise you won't be at this webinar. But I'm sure you guys are interested in more business and the right kind of business. And this is where I think having the right strategy can help. So having a great social media plan, having a beautiful website that really attracts and speaks to your target audience, understanding who your target audience is, having a great SEO discovery mechanism in place so people notice in your market that, if you're looking for, flights to Ottawa or flights to unique destination worldwide, you show up in their rankings and their visibility when they're ready to transact. And then really engage with them with the right kind of pay-per-click strategy with discovery-based ads, which are very cost-effective. So we get like social media, website, SEO, and discovery ads. Those are the key 4 things we're going to talk about today. We want to get really into each of these in more detail. Social media marketing, specifically, we're going to talk about 5 or 6 different social media platforms. We want to get into what posts are good and why, and what you can do. So you can go ahead and start implementing some of these best practices in your own brands yourself, without having to worry about exactly what is right or what is wrong, because there is a lot of complexity in some of these. Hopefully with this insight that we share with you today and some of the best practices, you should be able to kind of run with it and build your own mechanism to engage with new leads and new customers. A website in today's world is very important. It's going to really break down in the nuts and bolts into what each of these elements are that makes a website a good website. And then it gets into SEO, why you need SEO to make sure that you get the right kind of business on a regular basis. You get discovered when people are looking. How do you track it? How do you get the kind of right behavior when people are visiting your website? What keywords to rank for when people are searching? All of those things I was going to get into in terms of what's involved in SEO. So, and then he's going to pass it back to me. I want to talk to you about briefly discovery-based ads that are very cost-effective in building a ton of impressions at a marginal budget, even in today's environment. So social media is a must. Do you have concerns in adopting a social media strategy? How are successful travel brands using social media even in today's world to connect with customers? What social media sites or platforms are powerful for your brand? And most important of all, which techniques will work best for your business? Again, all of these questions are what we're going to address right after these slides, but this is it in a nutshell. If you have no social media strategy, with these next insights, you should be having a good idea what to put forth from a social media content calendar perspective. What platforms to focus on, given your demographic and your ideal customer profiles, and what techniques to use in which platform to make sure you're speaking the right language in the platform, so it doesn't look like you're a novice in the social media game when you're trying to speak to your customer. The rise of social media has led to an interesting challenge for small businesses, not only those for those in the travel industry. How do you strike the right balance between building an audience, projecting your philosophy, being goal-oriented, driving traffic, and selling? There is a ton of intersections that have to come into play and understanding what to do with social media. You should have goals, and you should know how many times a week or a month you're selling versus engaging and providing valuable content. If you're too salesy and you come across as too salesy, people get away and run away. And that's why it's social media. The word social means you're trying to engage and interact and network and connect and follow. And all of those things really are and all of those things really happen when you're not too salesy. If you're too salesy, it's just like going to a networking event and all you're doing is just being that person who's just selling to everybody who wants to speak to them. and you're not really engaging in a proper conversation. That's a big no-no in social media. So it really is important that many brands who do this right really provide a ton of value that will resonate with their ideal customers by being human, by being authentic, by being unique, and really providing them insights and value that they will appreciate, that is connected with the offering of their brand versus just selling all the time. Very important. The importance of a social media plan. Again, if you don't have a plan, like if you can't measure it and if you can't track it, and if you don't have something in place, how are you going to ensure that you consistently stick to it and deliver on it? Having a plan is linked to increased engagement, more leads through social media channels. That's a no-brainer. How do you do this, though? Well, you've got to have a content plan, a content pillar that we're going to talk about exactly what you need to do step by step to create this plan. Fundamentals of having a social media strategy. Okay, an awesome one requires first and foremost knowing your customer. You know, is your customer someone who's looking for a destination wedding in Indonesia, or is your customer a business corporate client looking for hotels near and flights and hotels near the airport? Is your customer looking to attract corporate events? And because of that, they need bulk buys. Are you catering to the cruise industry? Are you catering to the bed and breakfast industry? Is there a specific demographic that you're going after? Is it young millennials, or is it someone that's a little bit older? Or is it someone who is has one psychographic attribute versus another? All of those things. Maybe it's a gender, it's age, it's all of those things. Go detail in understanding your customer, because that detail, that targeting will really help you create the messaging within your social media or your website or your SEO or your pay-per-click to really resonate with that target customer. If you don't know your customer, you don't know who you're speaking to, you can't speak to them. Again, any social media post that you're going to put out there, you're going to look to attract. Now it's going to have a general broad appeal as well, but it should definitely attract your target customer, because that's who you're trying to appeal to. Knowing your customer, absolutely number one critical step. Setting up the content pillars. And content pillars here, what we talk about is having broad themes within your content calendar, and content calendar meaning various posts within a calendar that you put that fills up the month. What is exactly a broader theme that you can focus on, and you need to jot these out. And a lot of these can be, specific cater to the industry, or it could be just general broad-based ones as well. Think tips and tricks Tuesdays. If you have tips and tricks that you can share with your target audience or your ideal customer on how to backpack across Europe, and if that's your ideal customer, then you should have a post and that specifically caters to those kind of tips and tricks. Maybe it's carrying light weight, and or it could be another tip that talks about creating savings. But all of those associated with tips and tricks as one content of the pillar. Another could be Motivation Mondays. Another could be Casual Fridays, or Insightful Wednesdays. Or it could be specifically one could be only unique to your product offerings or brand corporate values. As long as it's 1 in 5 is the general rule of thumb, where you're talking specifically about yourself versus providing general content, it is considered okay. It's the 80-20 rule. But having those pillars or broader themes and how you're going to categorize your content is critical as well. So jot those down, brainstorm some of those broader themes and how you can create different engagements and different types of posts, and then we can then create content around that after. A content calendar. Again, this really is putting pen to paper. Once you've got 5 to 7 or maybe more content pillars or themes that you've categorized and identified that you think will resonate with your target customer, then it's putting pen to paper. Then you go ahead and put in tips and tricks users. So you should see a similar post come in every Tuesday because you've allotted that in the calendar. And if that's how you calendarize it, that's fully okay. It doesn't have to be tips and tricks Tuesdays. It can be just tips and tricks, and it can be scattered between Tuesdays and Thursdays, or however you want to do it. But you've got to create some kind of consistency in a calendar. Once you've created that consistency in the calendar, it becomes a lot easier to kind of manage and track. At the same time, because you're posting about a specific topic with the right hashtags on a specific time during a weekday and in a specific time of day, after 8 weeks, a lot of folks become used to it, and that's when you start building awareness and loyalty, because people look for that update because you've been giving it on a more consistent basis. That's when you start building an audience. So consistency is very important. And the last little bit is you will get engagement if you do this. A lot of companies that eventually do get engagement that reach out to them, when the customers try to reach out to them, because they're so busy with their day-to-day lives, they forget and neglect to engage back to the customers who reacted to their post, or ask questions, who ask about their programs, who ask about their offerings, who ask about the post that they specifically wrote about, whether it was a good reaction or a bad reaction. Responding to that in an engaging, enthusiastic way, again, showcases the world that you care and you are being a professional organization that is meeting the needs of today's customers and prospects. And that is one thing that a lot of folks fail to do today. So I think engaging is very important as well. What are the best platforms for your industry? We're going to talk about some of these in a very good amount of detail. But here are the top 5. Okay, we've got Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn. A lot of folks that are really into Facebook may not be necessarily into LinkedIn, or folks that are really into Pinterest or Instagram because it's so photogenic and really associated with photography and inspirational type posting. Really don't engage with something like Twitter that is more text-based and has limited character space, now even with the expanded 280 characters. So it really comes down to what your preference is, where you feel your brand is. It is good to play in all of them if you are in the travel industry. There's another one that's emerged as of late, which is very video heavy, which is YouTube. It's almost considered a social media platform. We haven't covered it here, but if you have a strong blog or video blog, or have videos that you want to share because you go to different destinations and you can capture them or you can talk about them, all the more for it. That is also a very powerful platform it can work as a social media mechanism to create engagement and following as well. But whatever you go for, whether it's all 5 of them or it's 2 of them, stick to it. But these are the ones that are really popular in the travel industry that has worked effectively for a lot of our partners and a lot of folks that we've seen correctly to attract and build a loyal following and repeat business. Content is king. Content is so much in demand in today's economy, in today's world, with the internet being in everybody's smartphones and everybody's smartphones being in everyone's pockets. Literally, internet is in everyone's pockets. Content is the world is so hungry for content. We consume tons and tons of content on a daily basis, whether it's videos, whether it's social media content, whether it's photos, whether it's blogs, whether it's entertainment videos, whether it's educational videos. There's a ton of ways that brands can now engage and create valuable relationships by creating content that really resonates. So really go ahead and spend time in understanding what kind of content you think will work for your audience, whether it's doing blogs, and it doesn't have to be blogs, it's doing social media posts, and that can be a simple post and a copy format that you just update on a regular basis, as long as you come across authentic and transparent is key. So produce content so you can be transparent, authentic, unique yourself in social media to really feed the hunger for content that's out there right now. So once you have a calendar in place, really coming out and speaking about, a couple of examples here that can be done well is, create destination guides. If you are a travel agency, that's an example of ebooks or reports. It depends on how detailed you want to go a long way in building trust, that are beautifully designed. And if you even put some advertising dollars behind it, you can get a ton of exposure, and it really acts as your repeat seller or a silent seller down the road again, because it's done so well. So it really do help if you are going to go into details, something that's more intensive like a video or a destination guide, and doesn't even have to be a video, it can be just on a copy in beautiful print. It'll go a long way in building trust as well. A lot of our recommendation is definitely to leverage social media with influencers, but the only challenge is finding the right influencers. Even in the influencer game, there can be a lot of folks that sometimes charge a lot and may not provide the right mechanism to give you the ROI that you need, given the investment required. So kind of research needs to be done. At the same time, a lot of influencers may not even want to work with brands who are not regularly updating their own social media, because that shows again that they don't want to be associated with a brand that doesn't take social media seriously. So there is a lot of nuances and puts and takes involved in this, both by making sure that the influencers are right fit for your brand, so you'll get the payback with partnering with them. At the same time, the influencer will want to be interested in you because you have a proper social media platform and program in place. So our recommendation is, once you've got a social media content calendar humming and buzzing, definitely partner with the right engagement influencers to tap into their audiences to get out bigger reach and new following as well. When I get into this stage, some nuts and bolts around each of the different platforms. We're going to get into Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I want to talk about why each one is so important, what demographic it plays a bigger role in, and why and how you can use those best. We'll then get into some of the examples of some posts that have been posted, some social media posts that have been published on social media, and why they work and how we believe they can be leveraged for your brand very easily from the best practices that we've seen so far. And then from there we get into a break and then switch over to web design and SEO. So let's get into Facebook. Facebook here again is massive. It's one of those ones that have been around so long, and a lot of folks that thought it was going to die just the way Google Plus died or MySpace died, and people thought, hey, Facebook's going to die as well. But it's around. It's not only growing itself organically by adding more and more users every year, but at the same time, it's been acquiring a lot of big, powerful, other social media platforms, including Instagram and others to really keep its revenue and profitability alive. And it integrates those apps very successfully in its own revenue platform. So it's gone from being a small startup to an organization that has deep insights into 2.8 billion people around the world. It used to be the platform for younger audiences, but as of late, it has transitioned into a platform that caters to a little bit older demographic. And so if your brand is catering to an older demographic that has discretionary income, and who's looking for inspirations or dreaming about their next vacation, Facebook is a great platform. It offers a ton of flexibility because it provides you to have a lot of caption space. So it doesn't have the same character limits the way Twitter does. It allows you to post hashtags, but we don't recommend it, but you can still do it. It allows for links, and Instagram doesn't allow for links, photos, videos, different formats, and show up in people's feeds if they're interested in the hashtag or showing interest in the brand. So. Or your company. So it's really powerful and versatile that way. So we're going to now look into why a good design, why a specific design works, and what you can do about it and how to use it now for your own brand. So this design, for example, is a simple design that really captures a ton of detail in a very simple, powerful manner. If you're someone who's not even considering going to Ottawa, this may even pique your interest and open a new discovery way. Let's say, okay, you know what? If I could do so much in Ottawa in one day, maybe this is something cool to check out. And here they link it back to their site. It doesn't have to be linked. If you don't have a blog that you don't have the time for, or you haven't created it, it could be written all in the caption at the bottom of the post. So when people click on the image, then they read the details in the image on the 5 things that you can do in Ottawa in one day. You can get all that insight and build that trust right away at that stage. And then at the bottom, then you can create a link that says contact us, and this way you can allow them to engage with you by providing the right call to action. Again, it speaks directly to the audience. If you're considering going to Ottawa, or if you're someone who's speaking to a person who's looking to go, who's a Canadian or who's looking to go to Canada in the city of Ottawa, and that's the place you're marketing to, and that's the client you're marketing to, it speaks to them in a very simple and effective manner. It gives a ton of content, but it's in a very consumable manner. Even though it's a ton of content, 5 things, it's not intense. It's light. People can do 5 things, simple things in a very easy format. It's not 5,000 plus words. It's not deeply technical. So people enjoy it. They get inspiration from it, and they see a beautiful pic and a great view, and then they get they build those great associations with the brand when they read and click on it further. And that's what you want in a good social media post. An example of a great design, and this is a little bit more sales oriented. Again, we recommend 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 ideally to be more sales oriented, that are specifically speaking to your promotional or product offerings. Others should be really associated with creating engaging content and sharing valuable insights with your ideal customers or existing customers. It gives inspiration and branding all in one. So, there is a great picture of beautiful scenery in the back, and the photography is great. It gives you key details in the flyer format. I think it's a little hard to read, to be frank, but it has worked, and it did generate a ton of interest for this organization and when they ran it. So, again, a simple, format that generated interest. Was more sales oriented, and it's even gotten involved in this as much as showing a price detail within the post itself, but it generated great interest because it resonated and it was an on point post at the right time and the right platform. Instagram. Okay, so Instagram is another powerful social media platform. If you're to join one photo sharing platform, I highly recommend Instagram. Instagram for travel companies is critical, just as it is for e-commerce companies or fashion-based companies, or cosmetics or cosmetic medicine. All those brands can really benefit from a great Instagram strategy. You really get a chance to showcase the before and after, or especially the after, to build inspiration and dream. And there's a lot of wow pictures out there. And we're going to showcase a couple of them here that can allow you to really hook the user into considering your offering by showcasing something that's beautiful. And there's nothing better that does that than Instagram. You should be in both Instagram and Pinterest. Pinterest is also very powerful, but Pinterest is more usually planning stage, and we're going to get into Pinterest in a little bit as well. But our recommendation when doing Instagram is to maintain the same color palette throughout. Have the right filters of the pictures to be consistent in look and feel, so you get the same brand hue and brand feel when people are looking at the picture. But when they see that picture and it's a beautiful shot, a beautiful photograph, and they see the color palette, or they see a logo at the bottom, or they see the overlay of your color, whether it's pink, orange, blue, green, red, whatever that color is, they've associated once they've seen it, and if they've seen it a couple of times, that association naturally triggers, and that's what you want. You want to just create some great feelings and associations, and provide great tips and value, and make that association make it easier for them to make that association with your brand. And that's Instagram from inside perspective. Now, why these posts work on Instagram? It helps people dream. What is vacation about? If you look at this image of smart flyer, the way the captions are written, the way the hashtags are spelled out, the way the emoticons are used, the way the gallery breaks things out, it really gives you an idea of exactly some of the inspiration that they're talking about. The color palette and the hue is very similar. This isn't the same photograph. They have different light shades in them, but they've overlaid it with something similar, so it looks similar in nature. The tone in the copy and the captions that they're written is similar in nature as well. Again, that allows for consistency in branding and being on point, which is very critical, and to maintain a similar brand presence and trust. Again, we mentioned this having the same color palette and experience is critical brand. Just gonna drink some coffee quickly. Okay. The captions. The beautiful thing about Instagram is, it does allow you for a ton of captions. In Twitter, after 2 or 3 captions, it's known to be considered to be spammy. That's not the case on Instagram. Instagram, if you do it right or you know how to do it, you can get up to 30 captions in a post. So you get a ton of visibility associated with your comment if you know what you're doing and how to post those correctly. And then the ability to write more engaging content within the caption, because there's not such a limited character limit the way you have it in Twitter. You can get away with a lot more copy that really engages the user, which is what people are looking for in Instagram as well. People love, in Twitter, people love tweets, simple tweets, our pictures of your showcase that also work in Twitter. But what we've been seeing as of late is, repeated posts about the same topic that, because there's a 280 character limit, people are telling a story over multiple posts that just continues onward because it is that long of a story. And you've seen that usually gets a ton of engagement because it almost acts like a blog on Twitter. So another effective way to engage people on Twitter and the audience on Twitter is to write something sincere, authentic, unique, and transparent on Twitter to get the best engagement. Twitter is, can you keep hearing me say authentic, the human side of the brand, because that's where you get the most engagement. The empathy factor in Twitter is very high. Because it is one of those platforms where a lot of the news breaks out first. It is more raw, it is less filtered the way Instagram is. And because of that, it is the more transparent or more authentic you are, the more you're going to be able to resonate with the audiences there, versus, for example, on another platform that requires a little bit more glamour in it, if that makes any sense. Why this post works on Twitter. Again, this is Air Belgium, and the post is cheeky and clever. I find it funny, and that's why I'm sharing it here. The post goes, we prefer water and beautiful turquoise sea over raindrops. And this is an airliner, basically mentioning, talking about the destination weddings. Destination trip to the French West Indies. And it's cheeky because, and it got a great amount of reactions as well because on Twitter, because it was humorous, it was funny, and it shows the human side of the brand because they prefer their airlines, they get rain, have to deal with rain, which affects their travel, and it's not as much fun as being exposed to water. So some cheeky humor there, added authenticity. The amount of hashtags you'll see is a lot less. And the captions are very limited compared to Instagram, which you can get away with a lot more. A beautiful photograph to draw the user in. Again, is a humor to humanize the brand. And posts optimized for proper call to action. Again, more information. The hashtags are used appropriately for the platform for organic discovery as well. Again, the more authentic, the more human the brand is on Twitter, the more you're going to get a reaction. The captions do need to be optimized for each social media platform. If you're going to try to use the same caption with the same copy and text and same character length that you use on Instagram, on Twitter, you're going to get not the reaction. You may not even be able to meet the requirements of Twitter because you may go over on the character limit, and that may hurt the user experience that you're trying to create on Twitter versus what you can get on Instagram. So there is a right way to do this. Why this post works. Again, very authentic, very raw. There's nothing glamorous here. It's a sad news post, where a travel agency that was been affected by COVID-19. It got a ton of engagement, a ton of likes, and a ton of impressions, again, because it humanizes the brand. It shows the struggle. It shows, why this agency puts their clients first. There's no better way to do that than being more authentic. And Twitter is that platform for it. Humanizing the brand is critical. It showcases the brand by showcasing these raw images that show that, the brand is struggling because it's been that impacted by COVID. It speaks to the brand values such as transparency, honesty, and hard work. which is what the brand wants to be associated with. So, this works really well. This may not have definitely worked as well on Instagram, let's say. Quick points about LinkedIn. We want to keep this one short. Given the interest of time, I think I'm running a little bit behind. There's an example of, this post, beautiful scenery, and why this post worked for LinkedIn is because, professionals love to travel. And if you have a post on LinkedIn that speaks to that audience who you want to engage with, they have discretionary incomes, and it's usually underutilized platforms because if you can share content that talks to somebody who can use value from it for their own day-to-day or professional life, dream about something that they can do, it'll be good as well, and it'll be well received. So, but there is still a right way to do it. Again, the right amount of captions, the right amount of hashtags, the right call to action, image dimensions and length is different for Twitter versus Facebook versus LinkedIn. So that's why we believe this one works. If you are on LinkedIn, and you engage the right way, you will build trust. And it is one of those platforms, because it is about 180 million, I believe, users on LinkedIn, I believe. It is so catered towards the professional community. Actually, I think so. Yeah, it was okay. I don't know if that 180 million number is correct. I think I'm referring to Pinterest there, but it's definitely one of the smaller networks versus Facebook and some of the other ones, but a big one for professional industries. Given this is a network or a platform that is so underutilized, if you go ahead and use it, your exposure will be all that more. And one of the tips we recommend for LinkedIn is in just the way Facebook and Instagram and other brands are. They want you to, if you're a brand, they want you to pay to play. But LinkedIn hasn't really 100% caught on to that. At the same time, if you share something that has been shared with a brand, or if you share that through your own profile on LinkedIn, your exposure on LinkedIn to get in front of audiences or your network's feeds is that much more quicker. So if you're going to share something with your brand, do reshare it quickly with your own profile to get immediate traction with that post and get your friends to like it. And this way, that ability to go viral on LinkedIn or get much more exposure on LinkedIn is a lot more native to LinkedIn right now, given where it's at with its own social media platform journey versus some of the more legacy platforms out there. The ability to get exposure is a lot more quicker. So you just have to know when to do it, how to do it. Showcasing journeys, inspiration callouts are a great way to get people to daydream a little, and I think that goes again a long way. You can also get engaged with people who are interested in corporate travel, right? Who want, who are sales folks who are looking to open up and get back into the thick of things with sales meetings across the U.S. or Canada or other places in Europe or globally, really. And they're looking for, a hotel near the airport or a hotel near the client's office. If you can showcase that and speak to them and provide good tips, you're going to build that trust. So you're going to be part of that consideration when the decision time comes. Pinterest, a good thing to remember is that Pinterest is an inspiration planning site. Unlike Instagram's users aren't really sharing pictures of their lives. Instagram is much more personal, it's much more photogenic. This is a little bit more inspirational. People use Pinterest to see what's the best out there or guide ideas around what to look for when planning. You can see a lot of homemaker websites use Pinterest. You can see a lot of renovation websites or use Pinterest effectively, and travel companies can use Pinterest to build inspiration, the oohs and ahs that people want to dream about to get that message across. So if you can share tips or a beautiful gallery or panorama shots of some of the destinations that you support or are part of to help people plan for their vacations or travel plans, it goes a long way to get discovered as well. Again, this platform is relatively smaller as well, about 180 million or 200 million. I can't remember the exact number. Predominantly mostly females. So if that's your demographic, you can make a lot of noise when they're in the planning stage to get in front of them. and get discovery. Again, bookmarking that depict how the people they want their lives to be. Before we wrap up this session, I do want to quickly talk about a couple of giveaways that we're going to be announcing after this event via email, and there are going to be a couple of winners that are going to benefit from our social media support. We're going to give one-time support 15-minute review and consultation for one of your channels of United attendees. This is available for one person. Any one person who's attended and who's interested in a consultation. What we'll do is we'll do a quick Zoom meeting for 15 minutes. You'll open up your social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we'll say, okay, you're gonna ask us, hey, what do you guys think of this? And we'll say, hey, this works, and this doesn't. Here's what we think work, and these are things you can do to improve it. You can go ahead and run with it and make it your own and build your social media strategy. If you need help categorizing content pillars, if you need help understanding and optimizing your social media design, we'll give you tips and places to do so, and you'll be able to kind of run with it and enhance your social media presence with this 15-minute consultation. We'll also give a giveaway. One lucky winner, it won't be for everyone, it's just for one person. We'll get a content calendar for a month. So we'll do the whole content calendar, up to 3 posts a week, I believe, for all the 5 social media platforms that we talked about right now, optimized for them with the right caption, the right hashtags, the right copy, the right image, and right call to actions to engage and build an audience. So it's a ton of work. Our design team is involved, our copywriters are involved, our social media team is involved. And then it goes through a review process with yourself before it gets published. Again, a full month's worth of calendar. One lucky winner will be part of the draw that we announced there in at the end of this event. With that said, we're going to take a break. I'm sure we've talked about a lot, and we're gonna take a break there and stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get some discussions around web design and SEO that An's going to walk us through. Talk to you soon. Talk to you in 5 minutes. Thanks. Bye for now. Okay, everyone, we're back. Thanks so much again. I'm going to pass it over to An, who's going to get into web design, development, SEO. And we're going to hopefully cover a lot of ground, and then we'll take another short break before we end it off with PPC. Right, An?
Great, yeah. So you guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Usman. All right, so what we're going to be talking about is the wow factors of web design. There's some intrinsic value to this where you go on a website and it speaks to you. Why is your website not speaking? Here, we're going to talk about some things that you can do to make sure that your website is on point, on brand, has strong functionality, and has all the wow factors in it. So let's get right into it. I would like everyone now to imagine a stunning website for your brand that speaks to your brand, that is functional and is also discoverable for your target audience on Google. Now, once you have all that, and we'll show you how you can do that, this website can be one of your best sales reps. That's what we're talking about. Your site is up 24/7. You can use it to promote your brand. You can use it to promote your products and services. You can do to promote and showcase your knowledge in the industry. And you can make a sale in the middle of the night using your website. So let's get into the different aspects of your website. So here, just like when you're meeting a new client for the first time, which I usually do being part of business development, you want to look neat and tidy. And everyone knows the old saying that you can't judge a book by its cover, but at the same time, everyone knows the importance of making a positive first impression. And your website is that, and your web presence is that. So what you want to do is ensure that the visuals of your website and the design of your website speaks to the audience. and in a positive way. So second point here is in the travel and tourism industry, visual media has always been one of the best ways to do marketing. We all react to visuals, and especially in the travel and tourism industry, visual play a big part. And let's make sure that our websites are on point when it comes to visuals and designs. Now, the last point here, over 80% of travel and your bookings are made digitally. Let's be realistic. Everyone is online now. Everyone's on their mobile. Is your website optimized for mobile? Is it providing a great experience, a visual experience? That is what we're going to be discussing here. So let's go on to the next slide, which is 5 reasons your brand needs a stunning website. And again, if there's anyone who's still skeptical on if you need a stunning website or not, this should help explain that. So having a large presence online showcases the strength of your brand in the industry. So your online presence legitimizes your travel agency, right? Second point here is to introduce yourself and build your brand. The more impressions you build of your brand through your website, the more sales it will generate. At the end of the day, it will become a numbers game. You want to bring as your website as possible. You want to showcase your products and your offers and show in-depth knowledge again. And you allow your clients to do the research that they need to by if you have valuable and good content that speaks to them. And obviously, you want to sell your products and your services online as well. And so these are the reasons why you need a stunning website. Okay, so now that we know and we all understand that we do need a stunning website, let's talk a little bit about the must-haves for a good website. There are 7 items here that we're going to talk about. Showcase your brand niche and unique propositions. And you can do that by researching your competitors. Understand what it is that you're offering that you can promote in a way that differentiates yourself. Cover all your site visitors' needs and wants on your website. Don't leave them hanging, don't leave them behind, don't leave any questions unanswered. There's lots of room on your website to ensure that you cover all the needs and wants of your website. And the importance of design is paramount. Again, we spoke about this already. And Usman spoke in a lot of detail, especially when it comes to social media, especially your Instagrams and your Pinterest, that design is paramount in this industry of travel and hospitality. You want to ensure that your website has a stunning design, so it creates an experience that the clients want from you. And tell your site visitors what they need to know. So again, content is king. You want to ensure you have good content that speaks to the clients and what their needs are. And have clear call to action. That's where the functionality comes into place of your website. Ensure that there's a buyer's journey, there's a visitor's journey through your website. So when somebody visits your websites, they're not left thinking, oh, where should I click next? And then back out, go to your competitor's website. What you want to do have had strong call to actions so that when a visitor comes to your website, they know that there's a journey to take and they click where you want them to click. If it's either the phone call or a pop-up form they need to fill out or inquiries or whatever it is that you may want your buyer to do, ensure that there's strong call to actions there. We're going to talk in more detail about search engine optimization, but it's integral to your website and the brand presence. And we want to make sure that you understand how to utilize this really powerful tool of search engine optimization for your website. And so more on that later. And then last but not least, your testimonials and case studies building trust, not just for your Google My Business page where your reviews are for Google, but also on your website. Testimonial videos go a long way. Your case studies build trust in a way where images just can't do. And when someone's doing or is an initial part of research, case studies speaks to the audience in the initial stages of the buyer's journey. And so those are also very, very important. All right. Next slide that we want to talk about is our recent redesign. So here's an example so you can visualize what it is that we mean in regards to having a good design of a website. So here you will see on salient.ca website a great opening hook with wow banner. It could be a rotating banner with call to actions. Could be a video, but it has to be powerful. The icons that you can relate to are all there right underneath that. The pictures that you see speak to the copy of the text. And the brand has to be on point, and you can see the visual of this entire page that the brand is on point here. The site has to be easy to navigate, the drop-down menus, however you structure your website. Make sure that, again, the visitor's journey is easy to process. Now, you will also notice that this website keeps the users engaged with mix of tones and section stages. That's, again, it comes back to the journey that someone takes onto your website. These are the things that you want to look at. And obviously, the footer of the website has to be informational footer. All right, so next we want to talk about Google. And when we talk about Google, what we mean is search engine optimization. What we want to do is ensure that when someone is searching online for the product and service that you offer, that your brand is on the top. And how do we ensure we get there? We'll talk a little bit about search engine optimization. Again, if you have questions after this webinar, please feel free to reach out to me or reach out to anybody else in the team or Usman, and we'll be able to help you guide through understanding this in more detail. Now, when it comes to search engine optimization, two questions come to mind for SEO opportunity. Who does not Google these days? Again, same thing. Who does not use technology and digital space these days? And that's why this is so important. The second is your website optimized for search engines? So your brand gets discovered quickly. Do you know, what that really means is, do you know how many people go to your website? How long do they stay on your website? What are they searching for to get to your website? Are those the right keywords? Are those the right customers for you? Those are the things that you should be asking yourself. And again, we'll get into a little more detail about that. So let's simplify SEO a little bit. It's one of those really hard to understand and very powerful tools. So SEO isn't fast and it isn't easy, but it's one of the highest return on your investment marketing processes out there. It is growth that you will see naturally in your leads and in the visitors to your website that you cannot just get from any other digital marketing process. The travel industry is awash with competition. So for any other industry where there are so many competitors in your market, what do? Those who market the travel company properly will bring new customers at a reasonable acquisition rate, stand to make a huge profit. So again, what you want to do here is differentiate yourself, focus a bit of your budget of digital marketing onto search engine optimization to ensure that your website ranks high for the keywords that you want to do it for. All right, next, let's look at some good examples of SEO practices and why these people are taking the biggest piece of the pie. So if for keyword travel agency in Vancouver, look at the diagram on the print screen on the left-hand side. You will notice these big brands have taken the top 3 results, and the top 3 results take more than 80% of the traffic for those keywords. So that's the goal. The goal is to not just be on the first page, but try to be on the top 3 of the first page. Now, besides the big brands, the local agencies can also rank. They can rank on local listings and organic listings, as well as specific niche keywords that you can rank on the first page for and beat the competitors and even beat the big brands. All right, so let's go to the next slide and talk quickly about an SEO checklist. Now, again, if you have any questions about the checklist and want to know in more detail what they mean, feel free to contact me afterwards. Now, these are the 6 items that we put on an SEO checklist. Backlinks. Backlinks are very, very important to ensure that you are connected in the web presence with other brands and other competitors, so that you are increasing your search engine capabilities of your ranking. And that's how Google evaluates you. Relevant and engaging content is a key to success. for search engine optimization. If you don't have great content, Google will not put you in front of its searchers. Relevant keywords, that's where your keyword research comes into place, and to ensure that you're bringing the right type of traffic to your website. Relevant keywords will help you understand where there are some pockets for you to benefit from, where your competitors may not be. SEO is cost effective. With SEO, when you achieve good ranking target, traffic will flow in 24/7. And it's great that with good SEO, you can benefit for a very, very long time. It gets more leads from search engines. Basically, anybody who searches for the type of service or product that you're offering, if you do good SEO and you do it for a while, you will be searchable on the big search engines such as Google and Bing. Long-term plan for business growth. Any big brand does SEO for their brand, and they usually acquire assistance of Google certified experts such as Usman here and myself to ensure that you get the right type of growth, right type of digital web presence. Okay, next, I want to quickly talk about the web design and SEO free giveaways that we're doing. So one of the free things that are being given out today is the one-time support. It's a 15-minute review, just the way we will do for social media. One lucky winner will get a 15-minute review and consultation for your website design and SEO. You'll sit with one of our experts, and they will walk you through what needs to be done or what can be done through the checklist, and provide the checklist to you so you can keep that for your long run SEO practices that you're going to be doing. For giveaways, we have one lucky winner will win a free website. That is an amazing deal. I really hope whoever signs up for this benefits greatly from this. There's also 3 lucky winners who will win homepage redesigns of their websites, and 1 lucky winner will get 1 month free SEO services for their brand. I hope that this is beneficial for whoever gets this, and I hope that my presentation here was also helpful to you. I think we should take another quick 5-minute break, and then you'll stay tuned till the end. We'll talk about other giveaways and free offers and support as well, and we'll talk about pay-per-click and advertising online. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Usman.
Okay, I guess we're back. What we'll do is wait for a minute more, and then we'll get back into it. Thanks, On, for the great presentation so far. I think we've covered a lot. We've covered social media, we've covered design, development, and we've covered SEO. So quite a bit of digital marketing already kind of behind us. We've got one little bit left with pay-per-click, and then we're gonna pause it and then call it a day. With that said, let's get into it. Hopefully you guys are okay now, and everyone's had a chance to take a bit of a bio break or grab a drink. And then from here onwards, we're going to switch gears and talk about pay-per-click, and then we take questions and leave it open to the floor. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, how to advertise on a shoestring budget. Again, we understand companies or small brands or budding or entrepreneurs or mom and pop shops or brands with multiple locations. Getting the most out of your ROI in today's economy in the travel industry is more important than ever. Okay, because of COVID, because revenue's dried up, 70%, 80% of the revenue is gone, and maybe more in many organizations. And they're just hanging on until demand returns so sales can pick back up. And once that's there, they want to then advertise and still capture the market. Well, how do you go about making sure that you can still advertise and not spend a lot of money and still get a ton of visibility and be top of mind, and which a lot of companies are still doing in the travel industry today, to really capture the market when they are ready to transact and ready to go for their travel destinations, vacations, corporate clients, and cruise clients, and a whole host of other travel solutions. So with that said, do you want to target people when they show interest in vacations? A lot of folks are now are opening up to vacations, especially because some of the restrictions, at least in Canada, are becoming less. Because of that, there is appetite to browse and vacation options. Maybe not now, maybe 3 months from now, 6 months from now. I know I've been receiving a lot of emails from our partners or I've got a lot of emails from various different travel companies saying, hey, book now, and you can go anytime next year when things come back to normal. So people are looking, and companies know that people are looking. So, if people are browsing and, they are interested in it, we can work with Google Ads to really create a beautiful banner design or copy that resonates with people who are interested or may be interested when they're browsing for something else for your ad to show up. And that ad can be there, and they may not even click on it, but now you're going to be in their psychology and their psyche to be a consideration when they are ready to transact. And that's kind of like traditional advertising, what people do with TV-based advertising. It's just like when you advertise on the Super Bowl or on the Women's Network or on TSN or other channels, you're really doing that to be top of mind when people are ready to transact. So if you see a lot of KFC ads in a TV show or a game or in a movie commercial, the next time you're going to be out, your consideration, KFC will be part of the consideration. It'll be part of the mix. And if the ad was good and it resonated and the deal and price point really worked, you're likely to purchase it. And that's the whole point of advertising. And that's what you can even do with discovery ads without even having to pay for a click. Or you pay for a click and it'll be pennies because it is much more cost effective versus search-based ads, which can run much more expensive per click. Bear with me, I think I've got some troubleshooting issues happening here. Oh dear, let me see if I can do this right. Sorry about that. There you go. Hope you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, excellent. So I got a thumbs up, so I think that's a good thing. Okay, how does PPC work? You only pay when someone is clicked. So if you design an ad and you configure it properly on social media or on Google or Bing, you only pay. You configure in such a way where you only pay for it when someone clicks the ad. You can get thousands or hundreds of thousands of impressions for pennies or next to nothing until people click. And those ads, that's how these pay-per-click models of platforms work, where it allows you to kind of get a ton of visibility, and they only make money if they've been able to connect your ad with the right audience. So you can get impressions for free. Impressions are free. That I can't emphasize enough. I just think that's fascinating because 30 years from now, when Google wasn't around or pay-per-click model didn't exist, most of the advertising was just purely based on impressions per million, as they used to call it. And people used to get, hey, we're going to get about approximately this many 100,000, this many million impressions if you create a big production commercial and you put it on this TV show and you get this much airtime. And because of that, this many people tune in. Our estimates are this is how many people will see your ad. Based on that, you should see a sales lift or an uplift in visibility on your brand. Well, today you can do that with next to nothing. That's how powerful online marketing is, and how it's changed the game a lot for traditional marketing. The ability to get visibility in front of people's screens is all that more easier. Whatever your budget is, if it's $3 a day or $5,000 a day, and you've had clients in a whole host of daily budgets, you can configure it to meet your unique needs. If you're going for anywhere from hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, you can create a ton of ads and ton of impressions and ton of visibility and discovery for your brand, and that will translate into conversions when people are ready to transact. Again, another beautiful thing about this is just the way we talked about whether it's on TSN versus Women's Network versus Super Bowl versus showing an ad in a movie commercial. the ability to do so here is very powerful as well. You can target not only based on demographics. You can target based on location, psychographic, interest, buying intent, how far they are close to transacting, and so much more. And so all of those things can be sliced and diced in planning and configuration before you go ahead and convert. So this is it. Did we mention that impression building is free? Or that is very powerful, and that is worth mentioning again. Successful platforms, that we have had success with using PPC is YouTube. YouTube is now one of the biggest search engines out there. In fact, I think it's the second biggest search engine in the market today after Google. It's even bigger than Bing. There's so many searches and a ton of video content is uploaded on YouTube, and a ton of video content is used and consumed by viewers around the world on a daily basis. If you can advertise on YouTube, whether it's just before or right below the screen, or in the interruption in the middle, or the 10-second spot, you can pay for that at a very cost-effective manner if they end up viewing more than 3 seconds or more, or however you want to configure the ad. Is Facebook. Again, we talked a lot about Facebook. Even Quora, question answering site. You can get a lot of visibility in a simple text-based ads. It doesn't even have to be graphic. If people are looking for solutions and these are the solutions they're looking for, you can advertise on Quora, and you'll get a ton of engagement and awareness building. LinkedIn, we talked about that. Professionals, it's a little bit more costly versus other platforms, but it still is an effective way to build an impression online. Instagram, again, pennies, and even other websites, Google's partner websites. They have over 2 million partner websites, from some news websites to other bloggers or other websites that they partner with that allows them to use their website and partner with Google and the AdSets program, so they can generate money when somebody clicks on their website, and then advertiser can generate revenue by getting increased exposure and visibility. So here, for digital advertising, specifically some of the giveaways, again, this is open to everybody. If you have an ad campaign set up in any of the social platforms or on Google, and you want to take a quick peek and say, hey, are you getting the right returns? Is your conversion rates considered optimal or meeting industry benchmarks? Is your CTR, click-through rate, the right way? Is your PPC too much, or how do you optimize it? All those technical questions associated with setting up the right digital campaign, advertising campaign. If you need help, 15 minutes, free consultation, open to anybody. Come bug us or ask us for help. If you need a little bit of help, we'll guide you to the right place, and we can kind of go from there. Okay. And the last one here is one lucky one will get a free campaign setup. So if you want us to set up a campaign from scratch, we'll definitely do that for you. Okay. And we'll do that for you, and then you go ahead and configure how many dollars you want to spend in a day, and you go ahead and run with it. And one lucky winner will get Google Ads account optimized by a pro at Web Worx Labs. Again, so a campaign setup or an optimization of an existing account, absolutely. We'll go ahead and take a peek. So there'll be two different type of giveaways for advertising, and this will allow you to get a ton of exposure. So how can we help? We have a ton of startup packages. We understand, again, the travel industry is impacted. We're here to help. We've got end-to-end digital marketing solutions. We talked a lot about social media, advertising, SEO, web design, and development. We have everything from mobile app developments to video, photography, and so much more that plays in the digital marketing realm that we offer really end-to-end solutions. So if you need help with digital marketing efforts, reach out. We'll be here to help. Here's some of our partners and client love that we've gotten over the years. Clients have been with us for some of them for 7+ years. When we started the business, they were there with us. They're with us today. And these are some of the longer ones that we work with, and there's still a ton more that we work with on a daily basis. And the reason we've been able to grow at such a pace, not only do we do a lot of the work that we're sharing as best practices, go check out our social media. Do check out our rankings on Google. You'll see that we rank and outrank a lot of our competitors, and our social media is engaging because we go ahead and talk the talk as well and walk the walk. Again, some of the trusted partners over the years, from large insurance companies to law firms to travel agencies to Montessori's, e-commerce, and pharmaceuticals. Again, a ton of content delivered. We really want to thank you. An and I put a lot of effort and love into putting this together. We hope you found it useful. There is a lot of insights here. However, we're here for the next little bit. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out. If you have any things you want to connect with after, we're going to be sending you an email. We're going to be announcing the winners. We're going to be talking about other giveaways that we're doing. We're going to be sharing those new winners on our, Instagram and our LinkedIn and our Twitter and our Facebook. So we're definitely going to be engaging. So come connect with us. Do find us online. Send us an email, and then we'll go from there. And that's it. So running a travel business in this industry is very difficult. Something I want to emphasize is knowing your audience. It's very critical. Investing in cost-effective marketing, given the environment we're in today with COVID-19, is more important than ever. Creating content that is unique and stands out is critical. Choosing the right channels and really going after them and being consistent, and iterate and optimize. There is no right 100% way. Brand state changes, social media change, new ones emerge, old ones die. You have to stay on top. Rules of the game change, the rules of engagement change, and there's a lot to take it up all at the same time. But hopefully today you will be able to get some insight that you can kind of run with on your own. But if you need help, we're here and we can help you out and hold your hand through it. And when you're ready to really scale, give us a shout. We'll be right here. Do you have any few words to add?
Sure, Usman. Thank you.
Let me pause for a second. I'm sorry. There's a lot of kickback.
That's okay. Sorry about that. So thanks for Usman. Your microphone. Sorry. All right, that's fine. I'll walk into another meeting room. But guys, thanks everyone for attending this webinar. We're here all day. And if you have any other questions in regards to what we just discussed, I hope everybody took notes. But if you need to discuss any of this in more detail, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you. And we're going to get through this COVID situation for our industry as soon as possible. And thank you again, Unite, for setting this up for us and giving us the time to discuss digital marketing strategies. Everyone, take care and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye for now.